Max Homa?
No. And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. And once again, it is the Barnes and Tony Show. Anthony, how are you, my friends?
Pretty good, dude. White t-shirt Wednesday or Thursday is right, dude.
White
Let's go.
t-shirt Thursday. Almost had that, sir. Almost had that.
I know, dude.
What a day. A lot to talk about. Big NBA trade. The Yankees, the Mets, the first day of the Travelers Championship. One thing I wanted to mention, a special shout out to my beautiful girlfriend, Samantha.
Wow.
Her birthday today. So happy birthday to her. We got a nice dinner planned later. So looking forward to that. June is always a crazy month with birthdays between hers, mine, my father's, as well as the fact that her brother and Carm birthdays are at the end of May. So
it's kind of really selfish.
It's a lot of birthdays in a short amount of time. So it's just a great time. So
where you going?
Stuff. Gabriel's in Westport.
Matthew Gabriel's? No, never been. Italian, I assume.
I guess it's like
where you going?
Stuff. I'm getting like a
confidence feed, you know.
But anyway, I guess it used to be in Greenwich. Now they moved to Westport, but I think it's like a combo of Italian and steak.
Oh, nice.
So you can't beat that.
So you're going steak?
I haven't even actually looked at the menu, so
really?
I'm gonna
you looking at it right now?
Making it. Yeah, actually, yeah. Pull it up. Hey, I'm like starving right now. I don't know about you.
So am I right now. I'm not gonna lie.
There we go. Let's see what we got.
Dinner. Wow, those fucking lamb chops. Oh my god. Raw bar. You want to skip that, or are we doing the seafood tower?
No,
I don't think so.
No raw bar.
Ahi tuna?
No. Just go to the entrees.
Come on, do you not get to have a couple starters?
I mean, usually Carmel orders some for the table, and I'll
the
have
meatball?
pretty much anything. Yeah, the meatball looks pretty good.
But just the one meatball for $19.
I'm sure it's like a massive meatball.
It fucking better be. Jesus, dude. All right, we'll skip the salads. All right, we got some pasta here.
Penny alla vodka with shrimp. That's hard to pass up. Then the cavatelli with Italian sausage. How do you feel about cannelli beans? I just feel like, do we need the cannelli beans?
No, we don't at all, actually.
But that does look very good.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, the pappardelle bolognese, dude.
Wow, that actually might be
the bolognese sounds so
I haven't really
good,
gotten
dude.
that much. But the last time I had
also,
it was unbelievable.
Lobster carbonara sounds really good too.
But then the peas. I mean, I'm sure they could do.
You know
it
what the
without
peas? The little mushy peas, dude.
No,
that's fine. Let's get to our mains here. Cauliflower steak, you don't want that. Salmon, the pan-seared salmon, that sounds good.
No,
big wing potatoes, baby bok choy.
The only thing that would be under consideration here is the braised
short ribs. Holy shit, dude.
The only thing is,
ricotta gnocchi with truffle cream.
The only thing is, I feel like I always get that.
Really?
But
dude,
you stick with what works. But the penny vodka and shrimp is probably so good.
Yeah, but you always get that too?
Yeah. But not as much, actually. I probably get short rib and then the cavatelli with the sausage broccoli rub.
Also, dude, the roasted rack of lamb, dude. Broccoli
don't
raw,
like
but you don't like lamb, right?
No.
Shit. Okay. And then we want the steak experience here. Holy shit.
What
dude.
an experience.
Yeah, right. The beef steaks are hand selected dry aged for 28 days, seasoned with salt and crushed black pepper, keeping it simple.
It's interesting, and I don't know if you feel like this too, but I feel like I don't usually end up getting steak just because I feel like when I have something, I like a lot of like flavor combinations. I feel like a steak, it's like, oh yeah, steak, and it comes with like some mashed potatoes, and that's it. And like, you know what I mean? I like a pasta dish. You know, you got the penne, you got the vodka, you got the shrimp, or the short rib comes with the sides too. This is like, oh yeah, steak, and then oh yeah, you want some sides, it'll be an extra 50. It's like, you know, like I think they overprice the steaks a little bit. Not here, but I'm saying just in general. You know?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, dude. I know, but the porterhouse for 2 sounds fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean
bro.
you can't beat a porterhouse.
And it's pretty cool. They have like a nice mix of, you can choose your own sauce. You know, get a few add-ons. You get a little lobster tail in there. I don't know what Oscar style means for a steak. But we had some sides as well, dude. You're gonna be pretty pumped.
Oh, wow.
Truffle fries, the extra large baked stuffed potato with little creme fraiche and crispy bacon on it. You have your sautéed broccoli raw with garlic, asparagus solid, cauliflower mashed with bacon bites. That's interesting. Mushrooms, spinach au gratin. Oh, dude.
The mac and cheese with the lobster. And I don't even like mac and cheese, but with the lobster, it probably would be.
Oh, and I bet, dude, breadcrumb fried onions, loaded mashed potatoes, Brussels sprouts with the bacon and balsamic glaze on it. Wow. Dude.
I was already starving. And now I'm tortured, Tony.
Are you a Brussels sprout guy?
Yes, but they have to be
crispy.
Made, yes.
Yeah.
Properly.
And
yes.
dude, I guarantee you these are crispy with crispy bacon and the balsamic on it. Sweet and savory, Brian.
Oh, my God.
Dude. What time's dinner, Brian?
Probably not till like 6. It's 10 o'clock, so we got like 8 hours.
All right,
get through it. It's like we got basically commercial-free red zone till dinner starts.
Holy shit, dude! Well, are you leaning towards anything right now?
No, there's
just
no
want it all, dude.
Yeah, we definitely want it all. A nice variety would be great.
Wow, dude.
Can we do a buffet over there? That would
honestly.
Be nice.
For $1,000, Brian. Wow, dude.
Yeah, I'll definitely recap that with you tomorrow. But I did mention, today is the first day of Connecticut's own, the Travelers Championship, Cromwell, Connecticut, TPC River Highlands. And as we mentioned, this is a gettable course, a scoreable course. And right now, former PGA champion Keegan Bradley on a little bit of a heater.
Let's go,
He's in first, 6 under par, started on 10 and birdied 6 of his first 9 holes. And he is now on the par 4 first, and are
you impressed?
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat a start like that. I mean, obviously we know,
takes it home.
Let's
pace, get that done, America.
That pace is unattainable, but it is something to watch out for sure. Right behind him, 2 shots back, Kevin Streelman, 4 under through 12. You got Minwoo Lee, 3 under through 13. David Lipsky, 3 under through 12s. S.H. Kim, 3 under through 12. Kelly Craft, 3 under through 12. Sahith Theegala getting off to a nice start. This is a place that he's fared very well. He's 3 under through 11. Going further down the list here, you got, I know JT is on the course struggling once again, and it's amazing. So Max Homa, though, is 2 over through 8, but Justin Thomas here is also over. Oh, yeah, he's +1. I got it on the screen right here, and I don't know if this is for bogey or if that was for par here. Okay, so he is +1 through 9. He's got 2 bogeys and 1 birdie. But with JT, Tony, I mean, it is concerning what's been going on with him. And we just think about, there's so many different names we could go to that kind of, fell off the map and have struggled to, regain, that form. And you just hope, because JT is a great guy, and, 2-time major champion. I know he just won last year, at the PGA Championship. He's done nothing since. There's been a lot of missed cuts, a lot of low finishes. And I was just going to pull up, this is a guy who's won 15 times on the PGA Tour with 2 major championships. But, just to give you, a sense, his last 3 starts here, tied 65th at the PGA, cut from the Memorial, cut from the U.S. Open. So, he comes to Cromwell here, and he's hoping for good results, and on a very gettable course to go 1 over on the front 9, not the start he was hoping for. And as I mentioned in the past, you've needed at least 4 or 5 under par to make the cut here.
Right.
A lot of golf left for him to play, 27 holes, but it's one of those things that it's now or never for him. And our picks, because you went with Victor. Yeah. So Victor and Rom, their tee offs, I think, are 12:40, 12:50.
Yeah.
So we got a little time till they're going to tee off. And Keegan Bradley did par number 1. So he remains 6 under par. Patrick Cantlay off to a nice start here. He's at 4 under now. Through 11 holes, started on the back 9.
His name is annoying.
Cantlay.
It's like Canadians.
Yeah, it is. It is Canadians, dude. It definitely is Canadians. But I'm so excited to go to this tournament. And the course, I mean, it's such a nice course. Like, and it just, you almost wouldn't even know that, you're in Connecticut. Just the combination of the water, the, $1 million houses surrounding it, the hills, and just a well manufactured golf course.
Trying to say Connecticut's not nice? Like, you just...
You know what it is, and I know this happens to everybody. Even if you live in whatever place you want to name that's beautiful aesthetically, it's not the same when you live there and you're there all the time. You can't get a full appreciation. You only have a full appreciation for places that you visit infrequently. Tony.
Oh yeah, because then it's like, all right, like you're still in Connecticut. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
Like, oh, I've been here my whole life.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going 31 years plus, same spot.
Wow, dude.
So
you're loyal, Brian.
Loyal to Connecticut. You know who else is loyal? Michael C. Theophil.
Yes, he says Barnes. Different person when the Yankees win. At least he's nice to Tony when the Mets continue to blow it, he says. And then he says, hey, all, best show. Thank you, Michael. Going to be awesome seeing Barnes win a Masters and get the green jacket.
The pinnacle of it all, Michael. Love to see it. Love to hear from you, bud. Hope the car wash is okay today. But of course, I mean, that's the pinnacle of golf. I mean, you can't think of, if you had to win one tournament, it's going to be the Masters. That's for sure. And of course, Michael, the Yankees, we'll obviously talk about that in a second, but winning does help. But there's also, the Travelers. I'm excited to go Sunday. It's exciting awesome that the tournament's underway.
You worried about the rain?
No.
You're bringing a rain jacket.
I don't even know if I have a rain jacket.
Do they allow umbrellas?
Oh yeah. But I'll probably just bring something to be prepared. But it's funny too.
You don't have a rain jacket? Wait, what are you talking about?
For whatever reason, I have never really had rain jackets. Not really a reason. I think sometimes too, and I know you get a bigger size, whatever. But I feel like they're always, and tell me I'm wrong about this, Tony, but they're always kind of like tight fitting.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I want to be comfortable.
Honestly, dude, I totally agree. And there's been one rain jacket that I got. It was from Sacred Heart for like part of the rugby apparel.
Mm-hmm.
It was Adidas quarter zip rain jacket. So it was like a pullover.
Yeah.
Insulated inside for warmth. Like I've been out in the pouring rain and like totally dry underneath. Wow. And it's like loose. It's comfortable. Like I said, insulated pockets, insulated on the chest. So it's warm. And it's fucking amazing. So
that's what I need. It's amazing, all the golf I play, and I don't have one of those like pullovers or quarter zips, or, whatever. So, I do have a pullover, but it's not. It's rain. Not a. Yeah, exactly. That's what I need.
You should look into it, dude. Adidas.
Yeah, and I mean, also, I do have some Golf Galaxy gift cards, so I could just pick up one over there. That might be a good idea before the tournament. On Sunday. But boy, this course. I mean, I really want to play there. I'm sure we'll figure it out. And I'm excited too. It was thinking about this before we started, but I'm going to send out the initial text tomorrow for the New Rochelle Country Club, Tony.
Oh, yeah. Wow, so, that's right. Friday.
Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting development.
You do it on the show tomorrow morning.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. I was thinking about that. If you had to guess, obviously, somebody I only played 9 holes with and, don't know other than that, do you think we're at 50-50 here for this working?
Yeah, I think so. Especially because you also offer them something too,
Yeah, to start it out that way.
And it's also, like the hype on the golf course, dude. They were drinking, having a good time. They probably have like a fond memory of you. So they're like,
yeah. I still think it's so funny though that like inside, like before he offered, I was like tight because he just kept shanking them and stuff. And it's like, I'm just thinking, you work at a golf course and like you can't. And it's not like I'm saying, he needs to shoot 85, but it was like every shot was a shank. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. But who knows when they started drinking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You know how that goes, Brian.
I feel like you're really looking forward to watching as much of this golf tournament as you can.
I'm really hoping on Sunday I see you on TV, dude.
Wow.
That would be sick.
Wouldn't that be something? Hovered around the 18th green.
Yeah. Dude.
Imagine Nance with the call, me with the fist pump.
Yeah.
As John Rahm wins the Travelers Championship. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be. Am I going to see you like double fisting beers?
Well, I think they cut. Well, obviously you could stock up, but I'm pretty sure it's like, just like baseball, they cut it off. I don't know what the time duration is, but before the end of the tournament. But
now yesterday you went golfing, right?
Right.
Do you always golf in shorts?
Yes.
Oh, every time.
Yes. And I was talking about this with Stacks yesterday. Because it got a little chilly towards the end of the round. I don't know if that's what you were.
Yeah, I was thinking about you last night.
And I'm fine as long as I had what I was wearing on the show yesterday, that light, like 3/4 zip or whatever it's called. So I'm fine with that. Like it obviously, as long as it's not like 55 or something, but if it's 60, windy, feels a little chilly, but I have a pullover, fine. I don't need, if I could wear shorts every day, I would. Honestly, pants, I just feel like are not really comfortable.
Yeah.
Pants are never comfortable.
Okay.
Give me something. Give me something. Like jeans are not comfortable.
I don't know. My pair of jeans are very. I just sleep in my jeans if I.
But you're telling me the shorts aren't more comfortable.
Yeah, the shorts are more comfortable. But like, I don't know. There are days like where it's just necessary to cover your knee down, dude.
Well, yeah. I mean, we live in Connecticut. I mean, it gets to 30.
I mean, I wear jeans and khakis every day throughout the winter. So
right. No. I mean, so do I. I don't show up in January with shorts here.
Right.
I mean, maybe if it's a nice warmer day, but
I love my jeans. Express jeans, so good.
And it's just like if I'm at home, I got to be wearing shorts. I don't know.
No, yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, it's like I go home like basketball shorts, like
right away. So
loose and freeing.
Yeah, no, it definitely is here. And I'm just looking here too. So
agita, dude.
I'm watching the main feed here, but they're featuring the group of Wyndham Clark, last week's US Open champion, JT and Max Homa, a Clark even. JT 1 over here. He's hitting his second shot on that number 1 par 4 out of the rough, kind of an uneven lie. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do from here. It looks like it's a $133 to the hole. If it was me with that lie, I would just swing as hard as I can with a gap wedge and hope that you could pop it up on the green. It doesn't show what club he's using here, but this is a big shot here for Justin Thomas, just because, like I said, not the best start. And if he could somehow miraculously get this on the green, have a look at birdie, get back to even and kind of get a reset here. He's just about to take his swing here. So we'll take you through that shot as he hits it up in the air. Looks like he got some good loft on this, and he's on the green, but more towards the front, pin in the back. So it looks like he's going to be looking at about 30 feet here for birdie. So it'll be interesting to see if JT can give that a look. Keegan Bradley on number 2 here, 88 yards out, chipping on the green on a par 4 here, and he hits a pretty good shot. I'd say he's more like 17 feet here to see if he can run it to 7 under par. So Keegan Bradley kind of following the theme of what we've talked about of guys, winning that PGA. I think at this point it was about 10 years ago, give or take. So, who's seen himself, more towards the top of the leaderboard after really being kind of anonymous the last couple of years. So that's another good story to follow. And Max Homa is one I can't figure out. I think he missed the green on his second shot here out of the rough. Similar shot to JT, but he's 2 over. Had that hot start earlier this year. Good start at the U.S. Open last week, but the consistency, Tony, is just not there. And I honestly thought he was a guy who at the beginning of the year was going to join the upper echelons of golfers, and he's done nothing but backpedal since some early wins this season.
What do you think it was? That kind of
pressure? You know what I mean? It's like, so tough. And we all deal with it. And I know it's obviously something, completely different. As Wyndham Clark, the short game, unbelievable. 84 yards out, gets it to about 7 feet.
Wow.
But we all deal with it. And it's like me, I have a couple career low rounds this year. And then all of a sudden that's like, I need that every time. I'm going to be very disappointed if I'm not. And I feel like it's the same thing with Max Homa. He had kind of struggled to break through, struggled to get his first PGA Tour win, gets a few, and he was more known for actually off the course as a big guy on social media, on Twitter and whatnot. And last thing we're going to do here before we switch to baseball, Patrick Cantlay, Tony, your guy here at 4 under, playing number 3, started on the back here. So this is a 51.5-foot putt here. Let's see if Cantlay can run this up to the hole, gets it to the slope, but it looks like this one is going to be short, but it gets a little late action, but it just rolls by the hole. So he'll tap that in for par. So Cantlay will remain at 4 under par. It's crazy that I don't think he has any Canadian heritage, Tony.
That's so weird. Where is he? He's from America?
Yeah, no, it's funny too. I always thought he was from Europe, like because of the name. Let's get a birth place for him. California.
California. All right, that makes sense, I guess.
Okay. So, and I guess we'll give you one more shot here. We talk about the struggles of Max Homa. Hit it short. He's in the rough here. He's only 48 yards from the cup, hitting his 3rd shot on the par 4 here.
Where do you want him to hit it?
I mean, I would be aggressive here because you can't have another bogey that's going to take you out of the tournament. So I would say hit it right to the top of that slope before it heads down and try to get it within inside 10 feet to at least give yourself a shot for par. I'm very interested to see. They're saying a pretty straightforward, clean lie here for Max Homa. As the crowd looks on, Homa with the ball in the air, gets it up. Looks like it's taking a little bit of that slope, and it's rolling, but it's still going to be 15, 16 feet away here for Max Homa. So a very disappointing start to his Travelers Championship. But we will keep you posted as the show continues. But let's go now to the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it, Tony. Yep. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Too deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. So a great Yankee win last night, number 2 in a row, as they gut out a 4-2 victory in a game which, going into it, you felt like they didn't have the advantage, and Vegas clearly thought so. I believe Seattle was minus 165 on the road here as JT misses a birdie putt. Got 3 feet left for par there on number 1. But the biggest surprise here for me wasn't that the Yankees got to Castillo, which they did. He had we talked about him having the 6 walks in his previous start, another 4 walks last night. Only went 5, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed. And he was clearly outpitched by rookie Johnny Brito. So I have to give him credit going into this one. I thought he was going to be chased from the game early. But he went 5 2/3, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts before turning this thing over to the bullpen as Keegan Bradley makes that birdie putt. So he's at 7 under par. The Vermont native. But to give you a scoring synopsis of how we got to this 4-2 score, first 2.5 innings go by. We don't have any runs across the board. I believe only 1 hit. And then a guy who started to heat up, Jake Bauers, with a big blow, a home run to right center, 392 feet, his 6th home run of the season. So if you look at Bauers, the average is only at 231, but he's definitely had some, Homa missing that par putt as he'll go to 3 over. He's definitely put some good swings on the ball, just missed, a couple more home runs. But this was a big home run to get the Yankees on the board, scoring Anthony Volpe. So that made it 2-0 Yankees, bottom of the 3rd, gave Brito, a little breathing room. And he was just tremendous, like I had mentioned. Another scoreless inning there in the top of the 4th. And then Billy McKinney, I guess you heard me chirping, his 3rd home run as a Yankee. And this one was 414 feet to right. And I was very impressed. So, with both of these players, just because very good there. The wind supposedly last night in the Bronx was blowing in about 20 miles an hour. So you think about these guys hitting home runs. Bauers was almost 400 feet. McKinney's over at 414. So that's impressive stuff for some guys who, let's face it, are fill-ins at this point. and definitely weren't expected to be, as Wyndham Clark misses a birdie putt, expected to be big parts of this team. But that made it 3-0. Let Brito relax, definitely. And he had a scoreless 5th inning, and then also a scoreless 2 outs into the 6th before the Yankees went into the bullpen and went to Jimmy Cordero, who overall, I think has been pretty good. A small implosion here or there. So what happened here, he in the bottom or the top of the 6th here, you had Colton Wong, who you look up his numbers. I think he's hitting like 125 and like 130 at bats. A guy who was once an all-star for the Cardinals. He flied out, and then Caballero popped out to short.
Your boy.
Julio Rodriguez walked. So with a runner on, only 82 pitches in, Boone decides to get Brito out of there, make sure he can leave with a lead and have a chance for the win, which he ended up getting. And then Cordero is able to get Ty France to ground out to short. The Yankees in the 7th inning here are the bottom of the 6th go down 1-2-3. Donaldson pop out. He's been hearing the boo birds left and right. Bader fly out and a McKinney ground out to second. On to the top of the 7th, Jimmy Cordero gets a fly out, a ground out, and a strikeout to retire the M's in order. On to the bottom of the 7th, Greg Spire pitching for Seattle. Higashioka pops out, and then Anthony Volpe, a guy we haven't heard from too much recently. We talked about the chicken parm, the new swing.
Oh, yeah.
Homer to left center, 403 feet. This is later in the game, so I'm sure, a little colder. I'm sure the wind picking up, so that was impressive to see. That really gave the Yankees some breathing room here at 4-0. And then IKF comes in, hits for Bowers. He grounds out, and Torres strikes out. Onto the 8th inning, Wandy Peralta comes in. He gets a ground out of Cal Raleigh. He gets a ground out of Pollock. And then he gives up a home run to Moore, who had, I think he was hitting like 100 coming into this game. 387 to left. So that made it 4-1. Michael King comes in to strike out Caballero. And then the Yankees in the 8th inning don't get anything across. Calhoun ground out, who left the game with a hamstring injury, going to miss a few weeks with an injury. So be interesting to see what the corresponding roster move is. Widely expected to be Oswaldo Cabrera back up to the majors. Rizzo walked, but then Donaldson, which should have been a double play. There's a fielding error, so he's on second, but then Bader lines out to shortstop to end the inning. On to the 9th, Michael King back out there. And I know he got the strikeout in the bottom of the top of the 8th, but he's been a little spotty, blew the game the other day. He walks Julio Rodriguez, then gives up an infield single, gets away with a hanging slider to Teoscar Hernandez, who just misses it. Plus, you think about the winds, maybe it would have been a closer call had there not been that much wind last night.
Right.
But that's a fly out. That advances Julio Rodriguez to third. So you got first and third, 2 outs. Tommy Canley, our guy, coming into the game, gets Jared Kelenic to fly out. Rodriguez tags up to make it 4-2. And then he ends the game on a Eugenio Suarez strikeout looking. I believe this was Canley's 6th save of his career, first of the season. That 0 ERA since he came off the injured list. Ball game over. Yankees win. And I would assume that the bite was ready, Tony, but I don't know if it's on the old board. Is it on the old board?
It's definitely on the old board, but it's also on this board.
I feel like that was like a spite. Like you could have pulled it out, but you didn't want to there.
Honestly, I was just listening to your recap of the game. It was very good, dude, so.
But and I know we talked about it a little bit before, but and it's small sample size, albeit, but love having Canley back. He was a great guy. A big part of that 2017 run, pitching in tight spots in the 7th inning, the 8th inning, the 6th inning, wherever you needed him. And it's just nice to know, you got the top of the bullpen overworked and needing a day off. You have confidence after seeing that last night that Tommy Kahnle, no matter what spot you're going to put him in, is going to succeed. And I think that's pretty impressive for a guy who's missed most of the last 2 to 3 seasons. So overall, definitely was happy with this. Very impressed by Brito. 5 hits, you'd like a little more than that, but there are a lot of positives to take away. Bullpen overall pretty solid. I think King will be fine. It's just, I think all relievers, no matter how good you are, unless you're Mariano Rivera, you're going to hit a choppy part at some point in the season. And I think that's what's happening with King right now. Luckily, the Yankees have a lot of other options to go to. Holmes has been on fire, like we talked about. And then, you feel good if, until Rodon comes back, Brito can fill in as needed. You feel great about Jake Bauers and Billy McKinney as fill-ins. They're doing the job. They're outperforming, the Rizzos, the Stantons, the LeMayus. So you'll take that with a grain of salt. And Anthony Volpe, you hope that home run can propel him. You saw the look on his face after he hit it. He was so excited. He was so relieved. And I think it's just exactly what he needed. And I think he's been having better swings. I know the results haven't always been there. But it just shows you that it's a good thing. The Yankees are sticking by their guy. He's technically on pace at bat speaking for about 22 home runs. So
that's great.
And you know how it is too when guys are younger, especially nowadays anyway, we give everybody a break on the batting average. But if he gets it up to 230, hits 22 home runs, steals 30 bags, that's going to be pretty acceptable. And it probably will be at least a top 5 in the American League Rookie of the Year voting.
Yeah, no, definitely. Especially for a rookie. That's great. Now I have a question for you, Brian.
Yes.
Obviously, you mentioned how, Bowers, Calhoun, even McKinney, all kind of outperforming, I guess the guys you expect to get, the runs on the board, like the Rizzos. We know how bad Stanton's been, even Torres. Do you maybe foresee these guys continuing to be those playmakers while the rest of the lineup kind of struggles? Or what are you expecting?
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be at the end of the year and we're going to look up at any one of those guys and they're going to have 30 home runs. But I think we're going to look back at it similar to we did in 2019 when you had somebody like Mike Tauchman or last year with Matt Carpenter. And you could say, well, for this point in the season, those guys carried us. Those guys were important. And I think it's going to be very similar to that with them. And I know Rizzo, was over 3 last night, but I think he's getting closer. Bader was over 4. I expect, once he gets a couple more games under his belt off the injured list, he's going to be good. So, and then while it might not be to our expectations as Yankee fans for Gleyber Torres after what we saw back in 2019, I think he'll, rebound to some level. He did have a base running error there where he got, I think it was in like the 6th or 7th inning. He made the final out of the inning, he was like, I don't know, a whole base behind in terms of getting back to first because he thought the ball was going to drop in, but it just, get with him. Sometimes it seems like it's always something. And then you got to just hope too that Donaldson, another 0 for 4, a strikeout. I mean, you got Cashman saying, he's had some good swings. We're going to get him there. I mean, that part is nonsense. So definitely it's not perfect, but to take 2 games of this series, finally win a series without Aaron Judge, who we know is feeling better after that second toe injection. So you hope he keeps getting better day by day.
All-Star break?
That's what I feel like. And it almost, it's like, if we could start playing a little better than we had been the past week plus, I'm almost okay with it. I just want him healthy down the stretch. So I don't want him to rush anything. I know these toe injuries can be tricky. Obviously, whenever the case may be, we don't need a specific date. If he's 100%, there's no risk of injury, then I'm all for, of course, having him back in the lineup. So Yankees will go for the sweep later on today. And they're gonna have Herman on the mound, and he had gotten tattooed by the Red Sox last time. Looks like Keegan Bradley, by the way. Looks like only a couple foot putt will have here for birdie to get to 8 under.
That is Keegan, amazing, baby.
Just on fire here in Cromwell. But so the Yankees will have that chance, to go for the sweep before their weekend series with the Texas Rangers, which we know will be pretty tough. But tonight's game, as the last two have been, at 7:05, Domingo Herman versus Brian Wu. So looking forward to that. And before we switch gears here to the Mets, I was just going to ask you, and I know I had tagged Downtime, and I think you on a bunch of things on Twitter. Did you see, as your mother says, hi, fellas?
Oh, Ma, you missed some great food talk top of the show.
So if you want to, rewind and then catch up with us later.
I'll tell you right now, next time my parents come, dude, I mean, how did we not go to Gabriel's?
Dude. I think that's a must. I think that is a must. I was going to say, did you see any snippets of the Hal Steinbrenner
Unfortunately
interview?
Not, no.
Okay.
I heard a little bit this morning from Rick and Dave, but a lot of people were kind of complaining from what I heard.
Yeah. Not our guy.
Did you listen to the whole interview or did you see
the snippets, because I was golfing at the time, but
what'd you think?
Just defensive of Cashman and Boone, and what he was saying didn't make sense because Don was kind of hammering. He asked him twice in a row. He's like, you haven't won in 14 years. You say that Boone and Cashman are very good at what they do, but everybody has to ask. It seems like there's no accountability here. And how, skated around the question, said that in previous interviews, he's explained why those guys are great at what they do.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
Say it again.
And Don did ask him again. He said the same thing. He said he's not going to get into it. He said you could go back and look at, what he said. So I thought that was kind of ridiculous. At one point in the interview, too, he said he doesn't understand why Yankee fans are upset here in June. And it's like, you don't understand why we're upset. We're hanging on to a wild card spot. We're almost 10 games back in the division. Like, what do you mean? Why are we upset? He was just saying that, but that it's weird. And then he kind of flip-flopped it at some point towards the end of the interview. He's like, well, if we make the playoffs, but don't get to where we want to be at the end of the year, this year, some people's jobs could come into question, alluding to Cashman, alluding to Boone. But I think that was almost to appease people. I don't really buy that. And I think it's the skating act with how, is ridiculous because, there are legit questions. There are legit mistakes, consecutive off seasons, not addressing offensive concerns, hanging on to older players, hanging on to wash players. So not the best interview in my eyes, from Hal Steinbrenner. And some of the bigger Yankee, vloggers and social media guys out there, very defensive as Bradley taps in to go to 8 under through 12. Vermont's finest.
Yeah, baby.
So I don't understand what the defense is. I don't know if they have some deal with the Yankees, but I just think it is completely ridiculous. And I don't want that to spoil what was a good back-to-back nights. A lot of good things to be happy about. You just want to see offensive progression. We went to 3 runs to 4 runs. Can we get 7, 8 runs? We have an inexperienced pitcher on the mound for Seattle. As Justin Thomas looks like about a 10-foot, 8-inch putt for birdie here. And he leaves it left. So that'll be a tap in par. JT just cannot get it together.
Now I get a lot of I see it sometimes too with Michael K's interviews, but I feel like every time he interviews either Boone or Cashman, and Steinbrenner obviously too, people always talk about how he talks to them like they're his friends and not like he's trying to report on an interview,
Now, that just made me think because I would like to watch. Are you able to get Twitter on here or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Look up Don LaGreca, Hal Steinbrenner, because I want to see what you think about how he asked this question, because I think I actually commented on it as well.
Let's see.
just see something here for a second.
2 days ago, 14 hours ago.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's
a minute and a half. Like, tag me in it, whatever it was.
I think I tagged downtime, but I'm gonna go to my profile now because I could just give you a quick tag so you could pull it up here. Let me just take a look real quick.
On TV. Let's see replies. Replying to Jay Lasagna, real Michael K. No.
No, because that was just. Let me just see here. Okay. So this is your personal or is this?
Yeah, this is personal.
Okay, so I'm gonna tag you in this right now, and then if you could just play this video, I just tagged you.
Oh, there it is. Notification. Ryan.
And yeah.
Aaron Boone, Brian Cashman have gotten extensions during that time. So I guess the overall question is, are you happy with where your team has been over the last 6 years? And has the mission statement of championship or bust maybe been adjusted?
No, it has not been adjusted. Our goal every year is to win a championship. And I've been through this before with numerous people. Do I feel that the whole season is a failure when we don't? No, I don't, because I'm not going to ignore that we win, X amount of games and win a division series. I'm not going to ignore that. But we have failed for many years to win a championship, and that is our ultimate goal. But, I went through this a lot in the offseason. I talked to a lot of you guys. And for all the reasons that I stated, I believe that Boone is a good manager, and I believe that Cashman is a good general manager.
You say anything.
And I'm not going to go into all those reasons again. You can look at
because why? Why? Because they're not legit.
But we have failed. You can include me in that as well. My family puts the resources in we can every year, and we strive to field a championship caliber team. And sooner or later, that's got to result in a championship. And I absolutely understand the frustration with the fans. So I get it. We're all frustrated.
I guess the frustration, and is it a fair question to ask, if you have failed since 2009, there doesn't seem to be any accountability in those failures if the same guys keep coming back to take another kick at the can.
Wow.
Well, I think the accountability is with the fans. I mean, if they lost confidence in us and the way we do things and what we do to try to win a championship,
dude,
they're going to let us know in a variety of ways.
He's calling out the fans right now.
But if you're asking me, do I think Brian Cashman is not a good general manager? No, I think he's a good general manager. And I've been through the reasons numerous times. We don't need to go through it again. But we have failed to achieve our ultimate goal for many, many years, and that's to win a championship. And we can go through the contributing factors every single year. We're not going to do that, of course. We can go through some of the contributing factors this year as to why we are where we are. But we don't need to do that either, unless you guys want it.
So, what's he trying to say? Like, if fans don't show up, then he'll make moves. Is that what he like? The accountability is with the fans.
So I want to still talk about this, but while we're talking about it, could you just also, I think you almost pulled it up before. There's like a minute and a half of Michael K reacting to what Hal said. I haven't seen it. So if you could pull that up, I would love to see, what his response was.
This one right here?
I think this is going to be it. Let's see here. And you could even, maybe, okay, yeah. I guess I was gonna say you could Google like Michael K's response to Hal Steinbrenner. But I just think, that was not a good answer at all. It was very deflective, and I think, he didn't specifically say it, but I think what he's saying is, if our fans were that upset, we wouldn't draw almost 40,000 fans a night, and it's like that's not what it is. He knows that all the loyal, diehard fans, are disgusted. That's an older one. I could try to see if I could find it on my end of things here. But is this a whole thing?
This might be. I want to see. Oh no, this is this guy breaking it down. This guy's like a loser,
dude. But I mean, so before I continue on here, Tony, what was your thoughts in all seriousness of what he just said there?
I don't know, dude. I thought it was kind of like, by the way, there's like a bunch of clips on Michael K's Twitter feed, just like little clipped up segments. Hal Steinbrenner answers questions from Yankee fans on Michael K show right now. Disgruntled fans, AL East wanting to be in the playoffs every year. And
all right, or maybe just go to that. Let's go to that.
This one. Oh, gotta hear. Oh. Disgusting, man. It's a bullshit question.
In the podcast, I don't listen to radio shows. I don't read the papers much. I just don't. But I
okay, dude.
The vibe is out
yeah,
they're upset. I'm a little confused this year.
Yeah,
being, third week in June, why they're so upset. But they're upset, and that's going to get my attention, of course. And everybody just needs to know that we're working hard on all fronts to get this to get this back on the rails and start playing the way we were for a couple week period there in May.
Don't you feel better now that you know that?
We got to be a part of it. We got to get Aaron back. Rodon had a rehab outing. He felt great afterwards. 42 pitches, I believe. Okay. We got to get him into the mix. We got to get healthier. We got to get guys off the IL and put sending guys to the IL. That's one factor that needs to happen.
Are you curious to why there are teams that have been able to be higher than you in the standings and maybe better than you over the last
John does a way better job.
Much less a payroll?
Well, I think a lot of it is, I think a lot of it is if you're struggling, if you're in a market where you can struggle year after year for 4 or 5 years, there's going to be an advantage eventually to that in the draft picks you get and so on and so forth. There are other really smart GMs out there. I'm not saying they're not. Tampa's done a phenomenal job, and they're a tough adversary, and they're having a great season this year. And the Orioles, we knew would be good. I didn't know they would be this good, but we knew they would be good. So it's a tough division, and I understand all that. But we're in a place where our fans expect us to be in the playoffs every year, and we expect that of ourselves. And I want to be in the playoffs every year, which is why we commit the resources we do. And but it's only logical to realize that if you struggle for 5, 6, 7 years, and you're kind of at the bottom of the rung, and there are advantages to that. Eventually, you're getting good picks.
Have you ever given any consideration, Hal? Because hey, tanking works. Astros tanked, Cubs tanked. They won World Series. The Orioles have tanked for 5 years, and now they've got a good, exciting young team. Do you not just think that your fans could take it, or you don't have the stomach for it to lose on purpose for 4 years?
For all the talk that I'm not like my dad in a lot of ways, that's one way that I'm just like my dad. It's not in my DNA. I want to be in the playoffs every year. I believe if you get into the playoffs, wild card or not, you've got a legitimate shot to make it happen in any given year. And our fans expect that. You guys know that better than I do. You deal with this every day. And my family expects it. Now, it's just not a consideration. It's not where we play. It's not the city we play in, and it's not what our fans want.
Does it bother you, Hal, that as one of the highest generating revenue teams in the league, that you kind of fund the teams that decide to tank and try to get better through losing?
I'm taking this off.
And just one more thing that you could hear. I just tagged you on one other thing. I haven't even heard it myself, and I think it was alluding to possibly changes being made in the future.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's bring him.
If we don't make the playoffs, third place, fourth place, second place, this is a tough division. But if we don't make the playoffs and we're healthy the second half of the year and we start getting guys back and we get the team that we intended to be on the field, then I'm going to be asking some tough questions. If we can march into the playoffs 90% of our intended team that we expected to be on the field every day, and we don't perform well in the playoffs,
all over the map, no consistency, no logic. What he's saying, just complete defense mechanism.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it just seems like, he understands obviously the situation he's in. I'm not gonna say he's a dumb guy, he doesn't know, but I mean, he's tiptoeing around these questions for sure. Obviously, he breaks down, like the lob questions that Michael Kay gives him. And then when Don McGregor comes in with like a good question about asking about accountability, asking about, well, how do you perceive these other teams that are doing well and you're not doing well? Like he just kind of tiptoes around like each answer and doesn't really, again, like say anything. Oh yeah, the GMs are good. We knew they were going to be good. These teams tanked for years. Well, if you knew they were going to be good, then why didn't you make the necessary moves to be better? Right. It just didn't make any sense.
So almost after hearing this, is it like everything that we thought it's all the exact same thing? It's all exactly what we've been saying, that he's not on the ball. He's not making the right decisions and he's not holding anybody accountable, and he could skate around it however he wants, but there is no accountability.
And it just like, again, like saying that, oh, I've said this before, I'm not going to say it again.
That's a complete defense mechanism.
It makes it seem like you don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And that you've been like so far removed from looking at this team that you don't even know what's going on. Like it's not a good look at all, dude.
And I mean, I made the call after the Tigers sweep a couple years ago to Gino that he needs to get off the horse track in Tampa. And I don't think any of that's changed. He doesn't live in New York full time.
He doesn't?
No, he's in Tampa all the time.
That's ridiculous.
So he's far removed from the situation and he just wants to collect the check. He could spin it however he wants. Yeah. I hope that, I don't know. I hoped when he was out there, and I don't know if it was for Paul O'Neill, whoever it was, when he got booed heavily, I thought that would be the change. And maybe that helped push him to sign Aaron Judge back. I don't know if he was planning on doing that anyway.
Right.
And then, he signed Rodon, great. But just that need for Cashman and Boone, he has never made sense of that as to why they need to be there. And I know, we're in the middle of a season here. At this point, unless everything goes awry, I'm not expecting anything mid-season. That's fine. But I mean, this is kind of Hal's last straw here, in terms of if this season doesn't go the way we want and he doesn't do anything, then he literally is pretty dumb, I would say.
Very dumb.
Yeah. So not the best performance out of the Yankees, managing general partner. But like I said, I don't want that to take away from 2 straight wins. I want to get the sweep tonight. I want Judge to be back as soon as possible. And it's just one of those things like where do I believe in Cashman? Do I believe in Hal? Do I believe in Boone? It's no. But there still is a semblance. There still is a foundation to get where we want to be this season. Hopefully things go right. You never know which way they're going to go. But I just think that was a very poor job by Hal, and I'm glad that we were able to play those clips and share our live reactions with all of you. Tony, if we could switch gears here and talk about the Mets, tough 10-8 defeat to the Houston Astros yesterday.
Yeah, dude. So talk about, piss poor performances, stupidity, bad interviews too, which we'll get into as well with the Mets. But last night, you had Tyler McGill on the mound versus Christian Javier. It was pitched pretty well for the Astros throughout this season. We know obviously the Astros are good here. But you're kind of looking for a bounce back win. Unfortunate loss, with Verlander pitching the night before, and you're just looking to take 2 out of 3 here in the series and win it. Unfortunately, the Mets cannot get that done, and it was a shit show, Brian, from the first inning, as so many Met games have been. Christian Javier, who I mentioned, was very good up until last night. Didn't have a great outing at all.
Control problems early. Bases loaded first inning, no outs.
Correct,
Mets couldn't score.
Dude. Yeah, couldn't score.
Sorry, didn't mean to jump the gun.
No, that's totally fine, dude. So anyway, first batter, Nimmo lead off a walk, starts the game off. Right after that, hits Marte with a pitch Four-seamer actually up at the shoulder. Definitely stung him a little bit, but gets Marte on base, and then
you think
after
that'll
that,
wake him up a little bit?
I hope so. Didn't really do it honestly last night, but after that hit by a pitch, Lindor was walked. An 8-pitch walk too, so a really crazy at bat there for Christian Javier. So he walks, the bases loaded. Pete Alonso is up, and I didn't know if you saw this, dude. Pete Alonso check swings and then like hits the ball though, so it's like a stupid ground ball right to the pitcher. Or I think actually Maldonado maybe picked it up. Catcher picks it up, and I guess like Alonso not expecting to even hit the ball. We're so surprised, started running and like was in the fucking grass, dude. And he got called out. So, so he's Javier picked it up, threw it to home. Maldonado gets Nimmo out and then throws to first base. And Alonso got called out for running inside the baseline. He was so far inside the grass. It was such a stupid play. But right there, bases loaded, right? With no outs. All of a sudden now, 2 outs. Man on second and third. Tommy Pham after this gets walked. So bases loaded again. Very interesting. A 6-pitch walk for Pham there. So Javier like not giving up a hit, but what is that? 3 walks and a hit by pitch.
Right.
But then unfortunately, McNeil comes out with 2 outs, bases loaded. First pitch, 4-seamer, pops it up to get the 3rd out of the inning. They get nowhere.
I watched that live. I could not believe Jeff McNeil, contact guy, jumping the gun, and that was that was a little league swing.
Why? Like, dude, the guy gave up 3 walks hit by pitch. You're swinging on his first pitch.
Just guessing.
So stupid, dude. Guessing. Yeah, so stupid. Such a horrible move. I don't know who gave him the green light for that. But then again, so they get out of the first inning, and you're thinking like, all right, dude, maybe Javier's going to continue to struggle. We can get some men back on base again, which we do. But unfortunately, bottom of the first, as Tyler McGill specifically has done so much, starts fucking giving up runs. Starts out, Altuve flies out to right, but then Dubon double to center. And then Tucker reaches it on oh, that's right. Yeah. Catcher interference. After that, and then wild pitch here. You have Narvaez starting here. Alvarez, I think was a good call to sit him, honestly. A little banged up from the week, night game, day game. Injury. Exactly, dude. You had a quick turnaround from 2. So I like the call for that. However, Narvaez seems to be like a lazy fuck because so wild pitch by McGill really wasn't a wild pitch. He just didn't block it right, honestly. It kind of hit him in the chest. And then just bounced off of him. He wasn't able to control. He didn't smother it. All right. He was catching lazily. And then I'll even prove my point again after this because Dubon scores on a wild pitch. It was a pitch. Yeah, it was outside the strike zone, but Narvaez leans for it with his glove and just misses it. Again, like catchers are taught to kind of shuffle like a goaltender in hockey and smother it with your chest and keep it down low. Instead, he tries to reach for it. And of course, it's going to be a pass ball at that point. But Dubon scores on that, gives up 1-0. After that, Alex Bregman RBI single, makes it 2-0. Then he forces the double play from Diaz to end the inning, though. But they score, 2 runs the Astros, so you're down 2-0 already, and it's only the 2nd inning. However, dude, the Mets kind of try and fight back here. Vogelback leadoff single. And then Brett Beatty, another single after that. So back-to-back singles to start off this inning. You have runners on second and third, actually. Vogelback went to third. Beatty was able to go to second on a throwing error by Altuve. After that, Narvaez pops out. Nimmo gets walked, though. So now we have bases loaded, 1 out. So 2nd inning in a row here. We have the bases juiced. Marte does cash in on this one. Doubles to left. Vogelback and Beatty both score. After that, Lindor, sac fly, RBI. Scoring Nimmo, and then Alonso flies at the center, but just like that, you're down by 2. Now you're up by 1, 3-2. Fast forward a little bit, top of the 3rd, as the Mets scores continues and the Javier struggles continue as well. Leadoff walk to Tommy Pham. Jeff McNeil struck out swinging, unfortunately, but then Tommy Pham steals second. Love it, dude. I send him every fucking time, honestly. He's been stealing so many bags for us. And then after that, Vogelback with an RBI double, dude. Vogelback actually had a nice night for the Mets. Scores Tommy Pham, increases their lead from 1 run to 2 runs. It's 4-2 now. At that point, they pull Javier. Doesn't even last a full 3 innings. Brings in Martinez. Beatty flies out, walks Narvaez. Nimmo strikes out swinging, though, to end the inning there. And then bottom of the third, you get some continued struggles to McGill as well. Leadoff walk, that seemed to be a theme on both sides here this
A lot
game.
of walks.
Unbelievable. Bregman with a single, Tucker to second. McGill gets Diaz striking out swinging. Unfortunately, though, there with Bregman stealing second and Tucker, they go double steal, steals third there. Narvaez really with it seems like he doesn't really have a great arm behind home plate, honestly. But then Jokes with a RBI single, 2 RBI single, tying up the game, scoring Tucker and Bregman. At that point, they pull McGill. He doesn't last 3 innings either. So you have both starting pitchers on both ends not lasting 3 innings, which is pretty interesting. I haven't seen that, I think, for the Mets this season where both pitchers do that. But they bring in Leon, who's pitched well as of recently, honestly. His past few outings, he was able to go multiple innings, doesn't really give up a lot of runs. I think maybe he had 1 earned run in his last 3 appearances, something like that. So pretty solid for him. Unfortunately, he seems to be back to his old ways. After striking out Pena on a pretty good slider, low and away, he gives up a McCormick home run, 4-seam fastball. He
saw that one live too.
Yeah, that was just
that got out of there in a hurry,
dude. 390. Excuse me.
And it was a little bit of I think
it was
Keith Hernandez jinx or Gary Cohen. They were saying, "Oh, he's been so good for us."
Yeah,
and it literally was like first pitch.
I was thinking the same thing. First pitch fastball, kind of over the middle a little bit, but on the McCormick hit it on the barrel, and it was just yard, dude. So that's not great. And again, I understand you trying to set up your slider, but I don't know, dude. I just feel like with the amount of home runs that Mets pitchers have given up, specifically on fastballs too, I feel like this season, like. No, you just struck out Pena with a slider. Why not start him off with a slider? I think maybe our pitch selection should be a little better there. But gets Maldonado to strike out after that on a cutter to end the inning there. So 6-4 now. Mets back up, top of the 4th. We've been scoring in like every inning, it seems, right? Marte reaches on an infield single, and then right there, they send him, steals second base. Love that too. Lindor walked. Alonso, Pham both strike out swinging. And now they pulled Martinez, bring in Maton or Maton. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, honestly. But McNeil hit by pitch to start off, this pitcher's appearance here. Vogelbach, RBI single, bringing in actually Lindor and Marte. McNeil to third, tying up the game there. So Vogelbach with a 2 RBI single right there. Beatty strikes out swinging at the any inning there. So unfortunately, you leave McNeil stranded at third, but you tie up the game. Love that. However, it was not long where Leon comes back in for the bottom of the 4th, gives up another double to Dubon, and then Tucker grounds out the second. That's actually for the second out. So you had Dubon on third with 2 outs. Unfortunately, give up a single to Bregman. Couldn't just cause a fly out, couldn't cause a ground out. No, 2 out RBI for Bregman there, taking the lead back, and then after that, he gives up a home run to Diaz. Wouldn't you know it? Off of a first pitch, 4-seam fastball, Brian, a 2-run home run.
Astros, I know the cast of characters have changed. They've always been a very good fastball hitting team. They're ready for the fastball.
Well, I'm sure Leon knows that now.
Yeah.
At that point, the Astros go up 6-9. And then we don't get so much scoring until the 6th inning here, where Lindor starts off his inning with a leadoff double, and then Pete Alonso, talk about getting out of the ballpark quick. 432 feet to center field. It was a sinker left too high over the middle of the plate. Alonso goes yard, 23rd home run, first home run since back from the IL. So you like to see that. 2-run home run puts the Mets within 1 here. Just trying to get some life late in the game here as we're in the 6th inning. But we're going to fast forward now here to the bottom of the 7th. Young Buck Walker started this inning for the Mets. Leadoff walk. Pena reaches on an infield single. They pull him. They bring in Ottavino with 2 men on, and he strikes out McCormick to start the inning with a nice sweeper that was so far out of the zone. Really fooled McCormick. However, after that, you have Maldonado with a sac fly RBI, making it 10-8, bolstering their lead there. Ottavino gets out of the inning there. And Ottavino, I don't know, dude. The sac fly, it was a squeeze bunt. I don't know why I said sac fly RBI. Maldonado had a squeeze bunt at home, and Ottavino was there, but tried like to scoop it with his glove. And it was so high for Narvaez. Like they could have made the tag and saved the run there. But unfortunately, he didn't. Ottavino knew it was his fault. He said it. But it doesn't matter anyway because the Mets were not able to score. You'll get the 8th inning there for the Mets. Lindor walk. Alonso Pham strikes out swinging after that. McNeil flied out the left. So, couldn't do anything with a leadoff walk to Lindor. So that's unfortunate. 9th inning. Vogelback grounds out. Beatty strikes out. Alvarez strikes out swinging. So 3 up, 3 down in the 9th. Another tight loss where you give up too many runs because your bullpen sucks, because your starting pitching sucks. And then for some reason in the 8th and 9th inning where you've been scoring all game, it's 3 up, 3 down for those past 2 innings. And it sucks, dude. It's absolutely like it's totally sucks. Another game where also we score a shit ton of runs, but our pitching is atrocious. I mean, what would McGill's final line was what? It was like 3 1/3 with 5 earned runs. Not even 2 1/3, 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them being earned, 4 walks, only 2 Ks through 63 pitches over those 2 innings too. So absolutely struggle with location, leaving balls over the middle of the plate, giving up all these hits, giving up runs, having no backbone on the mound. I mean, how do you expect to win a game when your starting pitcher doesn't last 3 innings and gives up 5 runs here? It's just not conducive to winning. On top of that, your bullpen sucks. Leon comes in, gives up another 4 runs for you. So what the hell good does that do? You bring in Walker, who's a no-name pitcher, who you're trying to give the ball to here, gives up another run. I mean, your bullpen sucks. You have no good. I mean, Hartwig, Walker, and Ottavino. I mean, again, like I talk about the starting pitching not having any type of weight to their names in terms of being intimidating or being fearful of having good pitchers. Look at your bullpen. I mean, who's coming in being scared of these guys? No one. I mean, you just had, you gave Houston so much confidence at the plate. And again, some of the Mets had good games. Marte 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Lindor was, got walked 3 times out of 4 at-bats. He came around the bags twice. He had an RBI too. Alonso was 1 for 5, which isn't great for his average, but 2 RBIs with the dinger. Tommy Pham 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Diego Vogelback 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Another 3 RBI night for him. Only striking out once. That was very impressive for Vogelback. I mean, kind of bouncing back here, it seems.
Do you think it's because he's been eating more? Because Judy in the office, I swear to God, she brought it up and she literally goes, boy, yeah, like Yuri really slimmed down. Boy, is he back with the weight. Like,
I don't understand why. I mean, the only thing I think of maybe from the in terms of the uptick in play is that they said they sat him to kind of.
What was he doing when he was sitting?
I don't know, dude.
Popeyes?
Popeyes? Steroids? I don't know, dude. But after all these walks and everything, you still strike out 14 times as a team, by the way, which seems like a lot for the amount of times you walked. You walked 8 times as a team. So again, it just seemed like late in the game, the Mets could not come up with clutch hits, which again, I don't blame their hitting because, I mean, they've been scoring so many runs. Anyway, he scored 8 runs, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're 12-11 with scoring 6 or more runs this season. I mentioned, last season they were 52-4 when they scored more than 6 runs over the course of the season. They got their 40th loss last night. Last season, they didn't get 40 losses until August 12th. So obviously
not good
at all. And it's like, I mean, again, people talk about the Mets going on runs potentially because they have the talent. They just need to fix their pitching. But it's like, how many games left in the season? We're 74 games through.
Yeah, you're almost halfway. You got to go on like an Atlanta Braves type run, a Washington Nationals type of run.
I mean, you have to win like 90 games. Yeah. Like you have to win total.
Yeah.
So it's like you're gonna have to win
60
and 20. So I mean, it seems like incredibly, obviously unrealistic at this point, given the fact that we still have to fix the team.
Right.
I mean, it's so ridiculous. A team that was built around the starting pitching. To be the absolute bane of our existence. I mean, again, another game. Like you scored so many runs, you got hits. Vogelback turned it around. Marte was doing well. Alonso with his 23rd home run. Like you guys should be absolutely humming.
Right.
I mean, think about I always bring up that record of them scoring 6 or more runs. Like they're 12-11 right now. Imagine instead of 12-11, they were 20-3. You know, like they're an entirely different. They're having 10 more victories and 10 less victories. You're looking at a team that's, 44-30. That's a better record than the Astros. You're going to be sitting way higher in the division. You're going to be feeling good, like just like that. And that's something that should have been that you should be doing. You should be winning games when you score more than 6 runs.
Right.
And it's just an absolute joke in terms of the pitching. Jeremy Hefner was interviewed after the game, the pitching coach for the Mets. And he talked about like a bullshit tiptoe your way around question interview with absolute no answer. Sounding like you don't know what you're talking. Well, obviously, like the pitchers aren't performing the way we want them to. We're expected to this season. And, you look at it, like Max had a good start. Verlander, he gave us length. We gave up 4 runs. And, Tyler came off a good start. Senga's been decent with his adjustments. Cookie's been good, but he has some things to work on. The bullpen hasn't been great either. But, I think that, we can work on some things in terms of location, in terms of, mixing up your pitches. And, of course, the other team has just been performing well. And it's like, dude, at this, you're not giving any answers, any explanations, any game plan. And I'm getting fucking tired of hearing every player. It's when Doris said it, Vogelback has said it, Buck has said it, McNeil has said it, Scherzer has said it, Verlander, they all say the same fucking thing, where it's like, we have the talent, like we're going to turn this around. I believe we're going to turn it around, but I just don't know when, but we're going to do it. And it's like, are you kidding me? You don't know when? How about start with tonight?
Yeah.
How about we have a day off? We're going to be in the fucking ballpark working. We're going to be practicing, taking pitches, whatever. And then tomorrow we're coming out here and we're going to start our comeback right now, dude. I would have some fucking confidence. I mean, just how that the entire team has absolute no heart, like no determination, no confidence in that they're going to be able to turn around. We're going to turn around. We don't know when. When? Like you're 34-40. You're falling back in the division. You're like 7 games back from Miami at this point. It's going to be an absolute flyer to get a wild card spot, let alone make a splash or run in the playoffs. Your 2 best pitchers suck. The rest of the rotation sucks. Your bullpen is horrible. And when the lineup is on, you're not winning because you give them so many runs. So when, dude? And it's just so ridiculous to hear, the same excuses from Buck too. It's just, again, it just sucks, dude. Like it sucks.
And what you're talking about, like the way they're responding, the stuff they're saying, I deal with the same thing with the Yankees. So I completely agree. We saw what Hal just said. And like, it's one of those things. And I'm sure they say the same thing about Buck, about Boone, how he handles the media so well. Handles it so well for who? Like, do you think we're all dumb? Do you think we all don't see what's out there? That I just can't stand that narrative that anybody can handle the media well. We see what we see. We want to hear accountability. We don't want to hear excuses. So to me, it's insane that these managers and general managers and owners think that some lame excuse is handling the situation well. That's the exact opposite of what all of us loyal fans are looking for. So I always thought that talk was complete nonsense.
Yeah, it is complete nonsense. And it's just so ridiculous because you talk about the fall from grace, obviously with the team, but also with Buck. I mean, manager of the year last year. And now people are asking for his job. And you look at all the things that worked well because of Buck last season. Was their discipline? Was there good defense? Their great base running, their fundamentals of the game, clubhouse attitude obviously suffered a little bit at first, but they came together and they won over 100 games and he won manager of the year. And now like, talk about sloppy defense this season for them. I think Nimmo got thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double last night by Corey Jokes, by the way, who looks really good in left field for the Astros. 27-year-old young guy. Like it looks great. And again, like gunned him down at second base from deep in left field. That's something like that. I feel like for me, I am longing to see a Met outfielder gun someone down at second base.
Right.
I haven't seen it all this season, I feel. But it's just those stupid mistakes that what was, Buck was thriving on is now totally like trashing his name, his obviously the confidence the Mets fans have in him as manager. Like I said, people were asking for his job, obviously for Epler's job. And it's just an absolute like atrocity over there, in Flushing. And it just totally sucks. Cause I mean, again, like we're saying, like time is ticking at this point. Like this isn't, May anymore. This isn't April where it's like, oh, well, we have time to make adjustments. We can lose these games and figure it out. We don't have time to waste anymore now.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do? Like, you got Senga coming up who could give you a good outing, might not. Kind of a toss-up. Especially against, a struggling Phillies team. I could see them honestly hitting Senga. Carrasco coming off a decent start, but again, no confidence. And you're back to Scherzer, who, you probably have the most confidence in, but then again, it's Verlander, it's McGill, and then you just complete rigmarole again.
The whole thing all over
exactly.
Again.
So it's like, what is good here? What is really good? Nothing is good.
Besides your mustache.
Besides my mustache, with Matthew says Tony mustache is on point, bro. Thank you. I wish the Mets could be on point, dude, but they're not. And it's terrible.
And dude. I know it seems jumping the gun, but from my mind, I think they would be better off like Epler, Buck, part of the coaching staff right now. Yeah. Literally right now, because we've seen it with teams like with the Phillies last year, sparks things up when people are held accountable. So I know they won't do it, but something to keep in mind for my minds.
I totally agree. I would be a little happier, I think, if Buck stayed, honestly.
And Epler
was canned.
And pitching coach gone?
Jeremy Hefner?
Yeah, definitely. And bullpen coach. Done. Doesn't even matter who he is.
Yeah.
Done.
And I'd be interested to see if Buck asked for these guys. Hefner has been in the organization for a while.
And he pitched for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if they're like new GM and they're like, all right, you know what, Buck, like pick your coaches. Let's get some new guys in here, fresh faces, whatever. Yeah. And also, it was interesting. I was hearing Rick and Dave talking about this because I think some caller brought it up or something about Epler trading Vientos Mauricio. And Rick and Dave were totally against it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of surprising. Because I understand, Mauricio would be someone I hesitate to give up to because he's just been still just raking in the minors. But I don't know. I feel like you gotta trade. You're gonna have to trade for someone. And obviously, I mean, the biggest thing you need help with is your pitching. I think your pitching and your bullpen. And I think, you brought up Alvarez and Beatty, and you got two great players out of your minor league system. Like, those are two homegrown, phenomenal players that have been your everyday starters this season. And I thought, so that's a win. Like, why not? Like, we did well with Alvarez and Beatty. Let's get Vientos. Let's trade them. Like, I understand. Like, it sucks because they probably would have been great players to come up too, but I mean, it's just what are you going to do? You need a pitcher. You need a pitching. You have that one guy, Mike Vassell, right, in the minors. Yeah. And I think some other one who's highly touted hasn't been doing as well as Vassell. But, why don't you bring them up?
Right.
McGill is not a major league pitcher.
Yeah.
David
Peterson.
David Peterson sucks, too.
But he is David Peterson, McGill. That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah. But David Peterson's still in the organization.
No, I know.
Gone, dude.
Yeah.
Leon, gone, out of the bullpen. Bring up someone else, dude.
And I think the common theme here, Tony, whether we're talking about the Yankees, the Mets, accountability is needed. Some guys have skated by, some longer than others, but we want to see accountability, and we hope we get that. Yeah. I think that's the general message for sure. Now, in terms of tonight's game picks, I had a 2-1 spot last night. You had a 1-2. So we are now only 2 points separation. You have 23 points. I have 21. And of course, I'm locked in. Yankees tonight getting the sweep. Herman bouncing back from a rough outing in Boston. I think he can pretty much go toe-to-toe with what Brito did, maybe get an extra out there for the quality start. But give me 6 scoreless from Herman. Seems like that Seattle offense is just really struggling. I think the bullpen can lock it down the rest of the way. And I think offensively, Stanton had the night off last night. I think it's time.
Really?
It's his time. It's Rizzo's time. Both of them haven't gone deep in a while. How about both of them hitting home runs? And how about Volpe hitting a home run tonight? I'm not looking for anything crazy here, but I'm looking for a 5-2 win for the Yankees as they prepare for the Texas Rangers tomorrow and get their first sweep in quite some time. And it might be, and I'm not certain on this, but it might be their first since that Oakland series. So give me the Yankees here 5-2.
Nice pick, dude. I couldn't help but hear you say that I went 1-2 last night, Brian.
Tony, it's always this, it's always that. Well, the Mets lost.
Right.
Right.
But I chose the Astros to win.
Oh, right. Okay. But hold on a second. Just take it easy. Okay. I have it right in front of me. I didn't mess it up. All right. So you had the Angels who lost.
Right.
So okay, and then the Blue Jays
won. They beat Miami. And then I had the Astros.
Right. So you went 2-1. And actually, what I will say here is I actually had it right. I just said it wrong. Maybe not, but whatever. 24 to 21, whatever. People make mathematical errors. What do you got for number one? All right, enough of the nonsense.
Okay. All right. So obviously, I mentioned before the Mets are off today. So I can't pick them, unfortunately. However, I can pick the Atlanta Braves, dude, who is in Philadelphia tonight, playing the Phillies. Obviously, we know about Atlanta. Game 1 was yesterday. Braves did pretty well. 4-2, I believe, was the final score. And I forget who was pitching on the mound. It might have been some young guy. But we got Bryce Elder on the mound. Speaking of young guys, 2.6 ERA, 5-1 in the season, 69 strikeouts over 83 innings. 22 walks, over 8 home runs. So struggle with some control against some teams for sure. But I mean, his ERA is under 3. He's 24 years old. He's 5-1. He's winning games. And his last outing against Colorado, Braves won 10-2. He went 6 innings, 1 earned run off a solo home run. So with no walks. So he obviously been working on the control. So give me Bryce Elder. I would say he can go for a career high 7 innings with 2 earned runs. I'll give him just 1 walk and maybe like 7 Ks. But Braves extending their win streak right now and improving their position in the division by defeating the Phillies here. I'm going to say 6-2 again.
Lock of the century. Put your mortgage on it.
Uh-oh.
Rays over the Royals. McClanahan versus Quos.
Wow.
And I guess Vegas agrees. -365. I don't want to hear about traps and inflated lines.
Sounds like a trap.
All of that as Homa taps in for par. Still 2 over through 14. So
nice.
Disappointing start there.
How's Keegan, though?
7 under. He did have 1 bogey here, but he's hitting out of the rough. Second shot on the par 5 at 7 under. 249 to the hole. And okay. Looks like that was short as well. So he'll have 3 on and then hope to 1 putt for birdie. Streelman is now at 6 under. Mitch Keller, Tony, on the hill tonight.
Lovely.
Pirates, very disappointing, 34-39 after a hot start. I just realized I was just jumping the gun, though. Because I was in the middle of explaining why the Rays were going to beat the Royals, and I jumped because I was thinking about that pick before, but trying to do a bunch of things at once. That's what happens.
Watching golf,
watching golf, thinking about dinner later.
Oh my god! Dude.
But yeah,
porterhouse for 2. Porterhouse for 2, but for 1.
3. For 1.
For 1.
McClanahan. I mean, he might even have a no hitter into like the 8th inning, but I think the Rays here. I mean, 7-0. Over the Royals. The Royals are pathetic.
Really?
20-54, 10-26 on the road. So Rays dominating the Royals for pick number 2. Take Keller. Take it. I handed it
no,
to you.
honestly, I don't want it. I don't want it. I want you to take it. I'm taking Cleveland, finishing the sweep against Oakland. Okay. The first 2 games, Guardians won 3-2 and then 7-6. So keeping it a 1-run game in both. Obviously, we know about
Josh Naylor having a good year, by the way.
Oakland.
55 RBIs, 280 average.
55 RBIs, 295 average.
Even
is what
better.
I'm looking at, dude. OBP of 338, slugging 464.
Only like 8 home runs, right?
Yeah, 8 home runs.
Yeah.
Ramirez, though, leading the team with 11 home runs. Even another
3-1
dinger tonight, though, making it 12. His average, 293. So
there we go.
A couple guys on Cleveland, hitting for average, actually. So that's pretty cool. Give me Cleveland. Who's on the mound against? Oh, JP Sears from Oakland. He's gonna get fucking popped, dude. Cleveland wins this one 8-4.
JP Sears is a guy I would look into acquiring for the Mets. They could use some younger pitching.
Really?
I think he's got a lot of promise. I'm just saying.
I like that guy from Detroit. Rodriguez.
I think there's more potential with Sirius. Rodriguez is more established. We've seen some type of ceiling from him. That's just my opinion. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Keller struggled last time out against Milwaukee. 5 innings, 4 earned, but did have the 7 strikeouts. Did walk 3. Walks have kind of done him in. He only had 5 walks last month. He already has 9 this month. But he did pitch well against the Mets, as you remember, 7 innings, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts. Ridiculous. I think he will fare well against the Marlins. He might give up 3 hits to Luis Ariz, but it doesn't matter, as the Pirates will rise in this one. 3-0. Keller, 7 scoreless, 14 strikeouts. 2 away from matching Lance Lynn the other night with 16, who's on the bereavement list right now.
Wow.
I think he still gave up like 3 or 4 runs, but I don't know. Even when he pitches well, I don't know. I just don't think he's that good. JT's got it back to even, but it looks like he's left off the tee as he's in the rough, surrounded by trees. Really rooting for my guy JT, but I don't know if it's going to happen this week. Never missed a cut after missing the cut of the major, so that's kind of interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. San Francisco Giants
won again last night.
Sanchez,
catcher's interference, controversial. People were tight.
8, 9, 10 game win streak with the
throw. 10 in a row. Law of averages. You're gonna say 11. So. You're gonna say 11.
I think it goes 11, and I think they complete the sweep against San Diego at home too.
Fire sale incoming. Preller fired.
Definitely.
Mets will hire him.
Yeah, probably, maybe. Soto.
Melvin and Soto. Over to the Mets.
That'd be sick, dude.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. I mean, maybe. I mean, if they start getting rid of some pitchers too, I would start picking off some pitchers. Dude.
Yeah, Musgrove.
Darvish.
Yep.
But I just think Alex Wood, who is pitching tonight, 4.1 ERA for the Giants against Blake Snell here. It's 3-6 in the season. I just think Snell, honestly, with the way the Giants have been scoring, I think he's going to get absolutely torched. We've seen it too sometimes where he comes in, 2 innings, implodes. Been doing pretty well as of recently, but I just got a feeling, dude. Giants, 11 in a row. Let's go. It's magic at home. I hope I don't get fucking screwed by this pick. But give me the Giants here. Say they win relatively lower scoring. I'll say 4-2.
All right. Yep. All right, Tony.
Right there.
So what
right there.
Just 2 things before we wrap up here. Before we do the leaderboard update, I know we don't usually talk about this, but we did have a big NBA trade overnight.
Oh, yes,
the
right.
Memphis Grizzlies acquiring Marcus Smart in a 3-team deal. Kristaps Porziņģis moving from Washington to Boston. Tyus Jones going to the Wizards in this one. Also, Memphis is sending Boston its 1st-round pick in tonight's draft. Actually, I didn't even realize the draft was tonight. 25th overall selection. So we'll see Wemba go to the Spurs. I know Michael's relevant for that. Golden State Warriors top 4 protected pick 2024. Going to Boston as well. The Celtics are sending the 35th pick to Washington. And the Celtics are also sending Gallinari and Muscala to Washington as part of this deal. I look at this. I know KP has kind of rebounded his image a little bit, but I think it's a bad trade for Boston. I understand you want to mix things up. You've had the same core. You haven't got to where you need to be. I just don't think KP is a winning player. I think he cares more about scoring than being part of a winning equation. And I think you can't replace a former, defensive player of the year in Marcus Smart. Had a career high 6.3 assists last year. I know Boston will look for a veteran point guard, but I don't like the deal for them. And I do like the deal for Memphis with Ja getting suspended those 25 games. It'll be nice to plug Smart in. That's just kind of my take. I've always liked Porziņģis, but I question that he can be part of a championship team.
Do you think Smart can whip up Ja a little bit?
Yeah.
Into shape?
Yeah, I think you will. Yeah. I think that's good for them as well. Yeah. Mentorship. So something interesting, but
I think Porziņģis will have a good year though.
I mean, I see why they want to mix it up. I would have just mixed it up in a different way.
I feel like he's been longing to be into a bigger city, like with a great fan base and a history and everything like that.
Yeah, but Boston, I don't know.
I know. I mean, I feel like he was talking about like regretting like how he handled New York and everything.
Leaving,
yeah.
So. But they started it though. They booed him on draft night, so that is on the Knickerbocker fans. So just to give an update here on the way out at the Travelers Championship, Keegan Bradley, as we mentioned, he's 7 under here through 14 holes. Like I mentioned, started on the back 9. So he's one shot ahead of Kevin Streelman, a guy who's had some success at this tournament in the past. He's 6 under through 16. You got Shane Lowry and Lee Hodges, both at 5 under. Lowry through 12, Hodges through 11. Minwoo Lee is in the clubhouse with a 66. He's 4 under, tied for 5th. Patrick Cantlay is 4 under, tied for 5th as well, and he's through 15. As is Sahith Theegala, who's 4 under as well. Xander 3 under through 14 holes. And then just trying to see if there's really any other notable scores here. I mean, there's a lot of guys like our picks that haven't teed off yet, but I guess I could give you a struggling golfer, and that would be in the form of Kramer Hickok, who's 5 over through 15th, tied for 77th, also known as last. Keegan Bradley will give this to you live, a 17-foot, 7-inch putt for birdie to get back to 8 under. 1 pace short, Tony.
Oh,
those are the worst.
Oh, so tough, dude.
Needless to say, though, Keegan Bradley looking in prime form. And I know, you don't just plug in the day one leader, Kevin Streelman, who's actually hitting an approach here from 163 on 17 over the water. And let's take a look at this one, and it's on the green. And I want to say, wow. I mean, he's got to have maybe 8-foot, 9-foot putt here for birdie to get to 7 under.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Also, we'll go one more here. JT, who's been struggling, talking with Bones Mackay. Michael, are you a big Bones guy? Hitting out of the rough, 312 yards out here. You would imagine he's punching out here to get himself in a favorable position to approach the green and make sure he can get a birdie here. But he has rallied to get to even par. We'll need more out of him. They're showing a Schauffele birdie putt while he's getting prepared to hit his shot. Schauffele to move to 4 under, and he misses it, just skates by the hole. Schauffele will remain at 3 under through 6 after his tap in. You rooting for JT to turn it around?
Yeah, of course, dude. Always root for.
Yeah, good guy. I just want to see if we're gonna get him hitting his shot here. I know him and Bones are talking over strategy. Are you familiar with Bones Mackay?
I do recall you referring to him before. Yes.
JT ready to hit his shot here. Let's see. It looks like it's going left. And that is going to settle down in the fairway. So a good punch out there for JT. So he should have a manageable approach shot in here on number 6.
Nice, dude.
How
far away?
They didn't list it, but just kind of looking at it, I would say it's probably like 130 or something. So manageable shot. JT with some work there to get a birdie to get to 1 under.
What do you think he's hitting with right now?
Like from that spot?
Yeah.
I think it's a gap wedge probably.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite clubs. So
yeah,
looking forward to watching this golf. We have a lot of low numbers out of there, a lot of talented golfers still to tee off here. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. But as we wrap it up here, Tony, anything you wanted to mention on the way out?
Yeah. What do you say? Go to the liquor store. We do this until dinner time.
I wish, Tony. I wish. Busy day ahead.
Really?
But we'll have to. We're due for that. We're due for that. Maybe for the too bad the Open Championships in the morning. Otherwise, that would have been perfect. I was gonna say major championship. It would make sense.
I can start in the morning.
Yeah, but no, like 4 a.m. Yeah. So you have to stay up all night.
Of the pressure you're placed that before.
Yeah. Get it going. Get the bets in at Bobby V's. But yeah, obviously another great day. Really like to thank everybody for tuning in today and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee in costume, summer collection, downtimetv.com. We want everybody to enjoy this wonderful day. Let's go Yankees, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.